Hey guys, JI here with Measure Square. Today we're going to make a quick video about alternates. So I'm in the bid module here right now on the worksheet. If I click over to the next tab, that's going to bring us to our alternates view. Let's add an alternate in here just to kind of discuss. So as soon as I add this, you're going to see, yep, this is just another worksheet, right? Similar to the base bid. The alternates are going to give you a worksheet, similar structure with the line items, the summary, etc. With one of the main differences of the alternates being you can have as many as you'd like, right? So on this alternates tab here, we actually have a collapsible worksheet set up where you have everything you need for each alternate. So there's a few different ways to create these alternates, right? The most basic way, of course, if needed, I can click this plus sign and add a line item manually, right? I can come here, enter my details as needed in that case. I can choose to import from my existing products. So those could be the ones in the project or products from my products section, which this is a good place to store items that you would be adding during the bid phase, right? When you're creating the proposal, as opposed to products that you'd be adding during your takeoff. So that's kind of the most basic way, is just add items, right? The next tier up, if we go back to the base bid worksheet here, so what you can do is you can actually copy items from your base bid worksheet to your alternate. So with that in mind, there's some things we can do here to kind of make things easier from the worksheet side. So for the first example, let's just take this LVT product and the add-ons, and we're going to duplicate those over to the alternate. So that brings us over to the alternates tab, and we can remove this extra item. So we have that LVT. That's going to be the same as it is on the base bid right now. But for this LVT value engineering, what we're going to really want to do is deduct this and add in our new LVT product. So with that in mind, what I'm going to do is duplicate that. So we have two of these. I'm going to turn one of these into a deduct. Right? I'll just name that deduct just for clarity's sake there. And then I'm actually going to go into each of these quantities and change that into a negative. So this is going to deduct those materials and costs from the bid if the customer chooses to accept this alternate. Right. So now this product, this is an LVT2. This is going to be LVT2 value engineering. Right. We're going to swap this out. We're going to add our new description here and change the details as needed. Maybe that's not going to Shaw anymore. And maybe the cost here is down to $214. All right. And then we have our add-ons, which, yep, we still would need those. Maybe we change out the adhesive as well, if just something a little more price friendly. Okay, so now this is actually a real alternate where we're saying, all right, if you accept this alternate, I'm going to deduct this LVT and the accessory products, and I'm going to add in this new, cheaper LVT with its accessory products, right? So just a nice example of how you can do a deduct there using the alternate system. So similarly, what some people do and what makes a lot of sense in some cases is if you bring your entire alternate, the whole scope of your alternate into the base bid as a folder, you can easily just select that and duplicate it over to the alternate, right? So a lot of people will use phases or tabs to actually isolate their alternate and get that in here, right? So if you, back on the Measure Square 8 side, if you have a tab or if you have a phase called alternate number 1, and then you go ahead and you choose to estimate by tab or phase, that's going to enable you to bring that alternate in here as a folder, and it'll make it very, very simple for you to choose to duplicate that folder over to your alternate. So that's kind of option number 2. So we have a third option here, and that's going to be the compare feature. So the compare feature is an automated version, right? This is a very 2026 level solution here. And what it's going to do is compare your takeoff, your original takeoff, to the alternate and automatically calculate that alternate for you. So we'll go through that now quick. We have this alternate number 3 here ready for us. I'm going to head back into the project so we could take a look at the takeoff. So we have our base bid takeoff right here waiting for us. And to run this compare feature with the alternates, the way we're going to start it is duplicate. So we'll call this alternate number 3. This is the compare. All right, so we have our new takeoff clearly distinguished, but identical right now. So I'm going to open up that takeoff with measure square. That's going to bring me here, and then all you're going to do is modify this takeoff based on the scope of the alternate, right? So we could say, you know what, for this particular alternate, what they did was they removed some products from these rooms on the left. They swapped out this main hallway. They put in some of this LVT. They swapped out that as well. And maybe they added a room on the right side here with a whole bunch of CPT1, right? It doesn't matter what these changes are. All that's going to happen is the system will compare the quantities here to what's in the base bid takeoff and produce the differences. So at this point, we're good to go. We're just going to save. That's going to kick us right back into the CRM. And we get back in the CRM. We're looking at our alternate takeoff. You can see that nice big room on the right side. If you go to changes on the right, that's going to be our next stop. And that's going to have a button here called compare. So if I go ahead and just click compare, it'll give us the option to compare to our base bid takeoff. And when I do that, that's going to produce all the changes right here on the right side. So you notice this button up here, create change order. I could just take these changes into a change order document right now, but we're already working on that bid. Let's head back to that alternate and use this as intended. So getting back into this bid here, I'll head to the alternates tab. There are those first couple alternates we made, and then alternate number 3 here. And you can see right at the top, we have import from changes. So I'll click import from changes there, load those in right from my alternate takeoff, and there it is. So now you can see all those changes. All right, we lost 2 buckets of adhesive, lost a couple buckets of base. We gained some of this adhesive, right? And it's going to go right down the line to total out your $17,000 alternate. And, there's a little more here, but essentially that's really all there is to doing alternates on the bid. We have a similar, less robust alternate system in the quote module as well. If you guys have any questions, please reach out to our support team. Thanks for watching.